A Course in Miracles. Lesson 167. There is one life, and that I share with God. There are not different kinds of life, for life is like the truth. It does not have degrees. It is the one condition in which all that God created share. Like all His thoughts, it has no opposite. There is no death, because what God created shares His life. There is no death because an opposite to God does not exist. There is no death because the Father and the Son are one. In this world, there appears to be a state that is life's opposite. You call it death. Yet we have learned that the idea of death takes many forms. It is the one idea which underlies all feelings that are not supremely happy. It is the alarm to which you give response of any kind that is not perfect joy. All sorrow, loss, anxiety and suffering and pain, even a little sigh of weariness, a slight discomfort or the merest frown, acknowledge death, and thus deny you live. You think that death is of the body, yet it is but an idea, irrelevant to what is seen as physical. A thought is in the mind. It can be then applied as mind directs it, but its origin is where it must be changed, if change occurs. Ideas leave not their source. The emphasis this course has placed on that idea is due to its centrality in our attempts to change your mind about yourself. It is the reason you can heal. It is the cause of healing. It is why you cannot die. Its truth established you as one with God. Death is the thought that you are separate from your Creator. It is the belief conditions change, emotions alternate because of causes you cannot control, you did not make, and you can never change. It is the fixed belief ideas can leave their source and take on qualities the source does not contain, becoming different from their own origin, apart from it in kind as well as distance, time, and form. Death cannot come from life. Ideas remain united to their source. They can extend all that their source contains. In that, they can go far beyond themselves. But they cannot give birth to what was never given them. As they are made, so will their making be. As they were born, so will they then give birth. And where they come from, there will they return. The mind can think it sleeps, but that is all. It cannot change what is its waking state. It cannot make a body, nor abide within a body. What is alien to the mind does not exist, because it has no source. For mind creates all things that are, and cannot give them attributes it lacks, nor change its own eternal, mindful state. It cannot make the physical. What seems to die is but the sign of mind asleep. The opposite of life can only be another form of life. As such, it can be reconciled with what created it, because it is not opposite in truth. Its form may change, it may appear to be what it is not. Yet mind is mind, awake or sleeping. It is not its opposite in anything created, nor in what it seems to make when it believes it sleeps. God creates only mind awake. He does not sleep, and His creations cannot share what He gives not, nor make conditions which He does not share with them. The thought of death is not the opposite to thoughts of life. Forever unopposed by opposites of any kind, the thoughts of God remain forever changeless, with the power to extend forever changelessly, but yet within themselves, for they are everywhere. What seems to be the opposite of life is merely sleeping. When the mind elects to be what it is not, and to assume an alien power which it does not have, a foreign state it cannot enter, or a false condition not within its source, it merely seems to go to sleep a while. It dreams of time, an interval in which what seems to happen never has occurred. The changes wrought are substanceless,
and all events are nowhere. When the mind awakes, it but continues as it always was. Let us today be children of the truth, and not deny our holy heritage. Our life is not as we imagine it. Who changes life because he shuts his eyes, or makes himself what he is not because he sleeps, and sees in dreams an opposite to what he is? We will not ask for death in any form today, nor will we let imagined opposites to life abide even an instant, where the thought of life eternal has been set by God himself. His holy home we strive to keep today, as he established it, and wills it be forever and forever. He is Lord of what we think today, and in his thoughts, which have no opposite, we understand there is one life, and but we share with him, with all creation, with their thoughts as well, whom he created in a unity of life, but cannot separate in death, and leave the source of life from where it came.
We share one life because we have one source, a source from which perfection comes to us, remaining always in the holy minds which he created perfect. As we were, so are we now, and will forever be. A sleeping mind must waken, as it sees its own perfection mirroring the Lord of life so perfectly it fades into what is reflected there. And now it is no more a mere reflection. It becomes the thing reflected, and the light which makes reflection possible. No vision now is needed, for the wakened mind is one that knows its source, its self, its holiness. Lesson 167. There is one life, and that I share with God. You keep looking for life. What if you never left its source? The detective walked into the courtroom carrying a single question. Not a witness, not a fingerprint, not a confession, just one question. He walked to the center of the room and asked, "Where is the opposite?" The room became quiet. The prosecutor looked confused. The jury looked confused. Even the judge leaned forward. The detective repeated himself, "Where is the opposite?" The prosecutor stood and said, "What opposite?" The detective replied, "The opposite of God." A murmur spread across the courtroom. The prosecutor smiled. "Death," he said. "Death is the opposite." The detective nodded. "Very well. Show me where it exists." The prosecutor pointed toward the world. He pointed toward hospitals. He pointed toward cemeteries. He pointed toward accidents and sickness and war. He pointed toward every form of suffering he could find. The detective listened patiently. Then he asked again, "That is where you believe it appears?" "I asked where it exists." The room became quiet once more. You see, lesson 167 is not really asking whether death appears to exist. Everyone agrees that it appears to exist. The lesson says that too. In this world, there appears to be a state that is life's opposite. Appears. That word changes everything. The detective circles that word in red ink. Appears to whom? Based on what evidence? Because appearance is not the same thing as truth. A shadow appears real until the light is turned on. A dream appears real until the dreamer awakens. A mirage appears real until you arrive where the water was supposed to be. The lesson is asking something much deeper. What made you believe that God could have an opposite in the first place? Think about that. If God is everywhere, where would the opposite stand? If God is all life, where would death exist? Inside God? Then it is not an opposite. Outside God? Then God is not everywhere. In a place where God is absent? Then there is somewhere God is not. The whole idea begins collapsing under its own weight. The lesson is not defending life. Life needs no defense. Life is self-evident. The lesson is questioning the belief that life could have an opposite. That is why it says there is no death, because an opposite to God does not exist. Not because death was defeated, not because death was overcome, not because death lost a battle, because the opposite was never there to begin with, and that changes everything. Now death is no longer an event. It is a belief that something can leave its source, a belief that love can become something other than love, a belief that life can become something other than life, a belief that God's creation can become unlike its creator. The lesson keeps returning to the same statement. Ideas leave not their source. Why? Because if ideas leave their source, then separation becomes possible. If separation becomes possible, then opposites become possible. If opposites become possible, then death becomes possible. The entire chain depends upon that first assumption. Something left. Something separated. Something became different from what created it. The lesson simply asks for evidence. When did life leave its source? When did the Son leave the Father? When did God's creation become something God did not create? When did the eternal become temporary? When did the infinite become finite? When did love become fear? The world has many stories, but the lesson keeps asking for evidence. Not stories, evidence. And every time the mind goes looking, it returns empty-handed. It finds appearances. It finds interpretations. It finds assumptions. It finds conclusions. But it never finds the moment life left its source. That moment is the missing witness in every case. The lesson ends where it began. There is one life. Not many lives. One life. There is one source. Not many sources. One source. And what is one cannot have an opposite. The wave never left the ocean. The ray never left the sun. The thought never left the mind that thought it. And the Son of God never left God. The detective closes his notebook. The courtroom becomes silent. One final question remains. What evidence convinced you that life ever had an opposite? And if no evidence can be found, what happens to death then?